Hi, how are you?
Hi, Morley.
Yeah. Where's home?
Nevada, Reno, Nevada.
You know that. Okay. Um, I went there as a little tyke. I was 13 years old,
Oh my
and
goodness.
we were out visiting relatives in California, and we drove up to Reno, and it was a Harrah's casino. It was like huge, huge building, and I remember going into the men's room. And then I came out what I thought was the entrance that I'd gone in, but I came out on a completely different part of the casino. I was so lost. Took me about 20 minutes to find my way back to we were having a brunch or something. It was wild. Okay, so what's going on? What
Well, oddly enough, I am actually, so the Harrah's had a huge property in Reno, and my office, they developed it, and I have a office building in Ranchera, which is the ranch that the Harrah's used to live in. So
wow.
it's
Very
kind
cool.
of funny. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
fascinating. That's a pretty part of the country.
It's actually, I never thought I'd live here, but I love it. It's amazing. Tons of outdoor activities. We get all the seasons.
Yeah.
It's absolutely beautiful.
Where was home for you originally?
Southern California,
Oh,
actually.
wow.
Yeah, which was an amazing place to grow up. I loved Southern California. It's just so populated now. It's a much different place.
No kidding.
Yeah, yeah.
So what's going on in your world? What do you do?
I don't know. I'm healed, Morley. You already fixed me. I don't know. When I offered to be the case study at the beginning of this, I was only about 6 months into the protocol. Now I'm
Yeah.
about 9 months in, and I don't have any problems anymore. So,
Cool. Look at that testimony.
yeah, I'm trying to condense it into words. I've written a testimonial several times. I just have to get the right words because you have, again, the simplicity and the enormity of it all.
Yeah.
It was 100% the missing link. It's been just, as somebody who was doing all the right things, and a lot of my friends, my clients, I have a wellness center. I'm active in the community. I have people, my kids will say, Mom, you're the healthiest person I know. My friends will say, Krystal, you're the healthiest person I know. And a year and a half ago, I was diagnosed with, well, I wasn't diagnosed with, I had a tumor or a growth, I guess. They didn't really know what it was on my right
Lesion.
kidney. Yeah,
Lesion.
a lesion. I had a lesion. It turns out it was a clear cell renal carcinoma. It was about the size of a softball. And yeah, yeah. And I have a lot of things make a lot of sense to me. But I think the thing that's different is I never stopped asking why.
Right.
And when I was in undergrad, I used to get in a lot of trouble for that. They always tease me. They'd say, okay, Dr. Peters, da 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 da. They always kind of teased me because I was always asking why, but they gave us a certain amount. And this kind of goes back to Matt's phrase of like, but we're at the middle of the stream and we can see the things down. And quite honestly, Morley, I don't feel like I'm swimming upstream anymore. I felt like I was swimming upstream until this protocol. And then now I feel like I'm at this either swimming downstream or swimming with the stream. I feel, and what I tell my patients, we've been working and they've been doing all the things. And this was my thing. We're doing all the things. Why do we feel crummy? And how do I end up with cancer? And
Yeah.
so you answered those questions.
Interesting. So have you worked with an oncologist?
No, I actually didn't have to work with an oncologist at all. My story's pretty amazing. I have always done alternative healing. I worked with an energy worker. She actually works with guardian angels,
Yeah.
and we had done a Reiki session that I totally forgot about. I was there to talk to her about my daughter having a couple health issues. And she starts by doing Reiki on me. She found a hot spot on my kidney. She said, "Oh, do you have any urinary issues? Do you have any?" I no issues, perfectly healthy. Let's get on to my daughter. But I have the whole session recorded. And she spends about half an hour. She says, "Oh, we're just gonna put this in a capsule. You're gonna be okay, and this is gonna come out when it needs to." And 2 years later, I had the surgery, and well, I wasn't feeling good. I had been feeling like crap, and my energy was crap. And, again, doing all the right things. And I finally broke down, and some of my patients get full body MRIs, and I got a full body MRI. When she got me up off the table for the MRI, the person was crying. So I knew she found something, but I didn't know what it was. And then my husband, we did it together. My husband got his results within a day. My results didn't come back. And then when I did get the results, I was like, okay, well, that makes a lot of sense that something's going on. And I went straight to a urologist he's also just a healer. He's a great person, great integrity. And I was really lucky to he actually is retired now. So I'm sure he's just sick of all the things he's seeing now and not able to help, but had the surgery. And then when I was coming out of surgery, he said, "It's really weird because it was in a capsule and we don't usually see that."
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So then I heard the word capsule, and I looked at my husband and I said, "Did he say that was in a capsule?" He goes, "Yes." I go, "I have to listen to this recording." So when I'm in recovery, I'm listening to this recording from this energy session, and it's just connecting every single dot. And I'm like, "All right, this is amazing."
So they took the tumor out, but they didn't take the kidney.
No, actually, I have an anomaly that's only 25% of people have, where I have two arteries that go to my kidney to feed my kidney. So they were able to clamp one of the arteries. They removed the very top portion of the kidney and one of my adrenal glands, which is fine. Um, and then I have 3/4 of my right kidney and full function. My GFR is fine. Everything is fine.
Yeah, my mom's younger sister had all sorts of kidney issues, and
Uh,
and during most of her adult life, she only had one half of one kidney, but
yeah. Yeah.
she lived into the 80s. So that's amazing. Uh,
Well, and my dad looked at me and he said, "Well, I guess you've been really pissed off lately, huh?" So, I really feel like that was where I was putting a lot of negative energy and storing it. I was taking vitamin D supplements because I was doing all the right things. Um, but I also know there's a karmic element to this. There's some past life things. And I'm working a lot with the energetic people and things in my life to heal that. And then I did start with DD more, which talk about magical. That stuff is insane.
no.
Yeah, really great.
So I'm curious, what exactly do you think the RCP did beyond what you had already done with the surgery? What actually transpired in your body you think has brought you back?
Okay, so for me, my energy was better, but I was on a few medications. So, um, and I still didn't feel like my energy what it should be, especially once the surgery was over. I was on something called dexamethasone, a steroid that you feel great on. So I was on that for a while, and I was like, "Oh, I don't like to have to be on this." But every time I got off of it, I felt like my adrenal glands really just my adrenal gland couldn't take over. And so I think getting the vitamin D out of my system, I think, and it's kind of funny, I've done everything backwards because that is how I do things. And I think getting the vitamin D out of my system, getting potassium into my system has been amazing. And I've really only been doing that the last month and a half. Um, I felt like in the last year even, I was like, ooh, I was still tired in the mornings. I was still tired in the afternoons. I was maybe 50% better after the surgery. And I was maybe running at 70%, which, and so now I feel like I'm about 90, 90% with the protocol. So I think the protocol got me, the big deal for me, Morley, is everybody was at, how could this happen to you? How could this be? How could this be that Krystal has cancer? Well, now I know exactly how. I know I have iron overload. I've donated blood twice. I'm on my third, I'll be getting labs again. I'm on my third labs, will be in 2 weeks, and then I'll have my third donation. I tell you what, I felt like $1,000,000 after that donation because I'd already started the supplements. I've been copper deficient my entire life. I guarantee it. And the retinol, the vitamin D didn't help with the retinol. I don't think retinol was as big of an issue for me. However, I love it. And let me tell you, I had a hepcidin spot that came out of my skin and peeled off that I've had lasered. I've put every cream the dermatologist could give me on it. And then last week, it literally came to the surface and peeled off like a scab. I had a skin cancer I couldn't get rid of. Again, lasered, all the things. Start cod liver oil. A month later, it just peels off and goes away. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It's
So,
great.
do you have siblings?
I do. Interestingly enough, I have a sister who's 12 years older than me. My mom had a pregnancy before that, to term. Then my sister, several miscarriages. My brother is 6 years older than me. Several more miscarriages. Miracle Krystal happens, and another miscarriage. And her miscarriages were 5, 6, 7 months in. They weren't. Yeah, yeah.
So not just the loss, but the dramatic trauma of the loss. And it's
Oh,
just,
and the physical. She told me, she ended up getting her uterus out after the last one. And she said, I was just done. I was exhausted.
so
So
3 children and 5 miscarriages.
at least.
Wow. So yeah, you didn't get much copper. Um, do your brother or sister have any health issues that you know of?
Yeah. And it's interesting because my sister's health issues started much later than mine. So she didn't develop hypothyroid until she was in her 40s after a pregnancy and all of that. My brother, he's in his 40s now and just now having a lot of issues with actually more bipolar or issues and so I'm helping him. I've introduced him to your protocol as well. So thank you. And then my issues with hypothyroid started immediately after my firstborn, which was also very, very stressful, um, as far as emotionally and with family things and all of that. So
How many kids do you have?
I have two. I have a 13-year-old and a 10-year-old.
Okay, awesome. I'm just curious, what's your age?
I'm 42.
Okay, and still cycling?
Yeah, actually, that is also very normal and regular now as well, which I was pretty much in menopause before the surgery and really didn't have a regular cycle until I started the protocol. And now it's like clockwork. It's insane.
Do you have a doctor that you go to?
No, this is really weird for me because I am the person that I just take care of myself. My husband's a physician. I tell him how he's wrong a lot, but he's very open to that. Do you want to say hi, Rob? He's right here. Come say hi.
Come on, Dr. Rob. What a good support.
He can't
How you
see
doing?
himself. They have it. So
That's
there.
fine. That's awesome. Where'd you go to medical school?
Kansas City, and then I did residency in Las Vegas.
Awesome. Okay.
So I'm a DO, so I kind of started being open to other thoughts already, but certainly it was difficult accepting I was wrong a lot, but I got over it.
He
you know,
asks the best questions, though, Morley, because I will tell him we sit in the sauna every night and I talk about what I learned. And he does come up with the best questions.
that's great. Well, there's two reasons why women outlive men, Bob. Just two reasons.
All right.
Women are smarter, and they have 40 years of blood loss. You're dumping iron for 40 years.
Yeah.
How often do you donate blood?
No bad when I can.
Every 2 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Thank you.
That's awesome. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, that's great. That's fantastic. Um, Man, what a total surprise. Um, and the fact that you're doing all the different components, you're doing the emotional release, you're doing the blood donations, you're doing the protocol. What's the part of the protocol that you like the most? And what's the part of the protocol you like the least?
There's nothing I don't like about it. The hardest, I've listened to every single one of the consults we can. Twice. Twice. So I was about 30 consults in. I was like, all right, well, I guess I have to do this stupid emotional freedom technique. So I'm going to do that. So I did. And after the first session, I was like, okay, I guess this really works. But literally, Morley, I read your book over the holidays and it resonated. Yeah, so it's been less than a year. I read your book. I listened to every single podcast I could find you on. I didn't want to listen to anything else. I quit listening to everything else. I don't care about anything else. This is the root. This is what matters. And everything else is just so superficial.
You know, what's funny about it, I've met probably 20 couples where the wife has taken this deep dive into the protocol, listened to everything, and then I get to meet the husband. And they always have their arms folded like, oh, you're the one. That's so funny. Oh my God. This is a genuine revival here. This is amazing. Um, when did you know there was a real turning point in your health? You'd had the surgery done. You were feeling fatigued. Something didn't feel right. What did you sense when you really felt like
I don't know. Every single, and I didn't implement everything in the order, and I implemented as much as I could as fast as I could. But every time I'm very lucky. I didn't have any negative response. I didn't have any histamine issues. But every time I made a change, it was almost like the next day it was like I got better every single time I implemented something. And I kind of, I hesitate to say that because I know it's the tortoise and the hare, but at the same time, I had been doing so much work for so many years to be healthy that I think I had a really good medium for these things. And I mean, when I started taking copper, it was like amazing. It was like, it is a spark plug. Things just started firing. I just felt great. And every single time I take something, it's almost like I feel younger. After my last session with Dee Dee, I felt like emotionally lighter than like a young adult, like without all the worries of a business and a family and all the things. It just feels so much more less overwhelming, more manageable. Everything's manageable.
right. If you have resilience, you have
Yeah.
resilience.
Yeah.
Now, do we have any test results on you?
We should have two sets of almost full results. And so what I've realized, Morley, is that when you order this electronically is why you'll get the magnesium and the red blood cell, because the phlebotomist, or they're called lab assistants, and I know because I worked my way through school as a lab assistant, they don't know much. And when they put the orders in from a paper order, they screw them up. So I've gotten really specific with that, but I do have two sets right now of lab results that shed light, and I think you guys have my hair results, and I would like to guess before you show me what my hair results are going to be.
Okay. So,
Well, we do have them. I'm just going to go straight into the HTMA. So did you want to guess
Hmm.
first, Krystal?
Okay, so my guess, I think that I think I had a calcium, very high calcium, if not a calcium shell. I had the blunted emotions. I felt like a little bit robot-y. I had all the things that come along with that. My guess is that my magnesium will actually be really high too, because my RBC is quite low. The magnesium RBC is quite low. So I don't think that I was retaining magnesium. And I think that's partly because I didn't have potassium. So I expect my sodium will be probably the most normal of them, but I think my potassium will be really low. And then I'm interested to see what the copper looks like. I've been taking a lot, so I don't know if some of it's getting excreted, because my ceruloplasmin and my copper level in my labs isn't great. But I feel great, so I'm not worried about it. It's just an interesting thing.
and what Constantine the Darkness is teaching us is that when you get rid of the iron, the copper will come back
Okay.
in a much more significant way. Now, again, got to be careful. It's anecdotal. It's an N of one, but I think he's a very powerful example of the iron suppression that takes place in our body, which
Yeah.
would which would add to what you're talking about. So, Laura, let's take a look and see what the numbers look like with the
Okay.
bars.
We'll do the HTMA first. You might be a little bit surprised there with a couple of those.
Oh, I am surprised.
Isn't that interesting? So calcium's really low.
3.
Fast oxidizer, Morley.
Yeah, yep, yep.
Oh, see, I was wondering if I was a fast oxidizer.
So that would make sense. Your sodium would be that high and potassium. So then you're a total stress cadet in that situation. So this
Oh,
is,
it was miserable.
yeah. So you're totally losing magnesium. You couldn't keep up with it. And
Mhm.
the part that I think is unfortunate is that so many um, hair tissue mineral practitioners don't understand the copper iron story. And so they don't understand why the sodium is leaving the body with iron. Iron is just, and magnesium, they're both leaving because of the iron. And it's really tragic that they don't understand that. Copper's kind of where I was expecting it to be. That doesn't surprise me. See, I don't put a lot of stock in the metals in the hair test, but it's always fun to see what their relative position is. And again, a little bit of a saber-toothed tiger here. So the mercury, do you have mercury in your mouth or mercury in your diet?
No. What I'm wondering is if just with everything now, I am doing the diatomaceous earth as well. I wonder if I'm just detoxing it
Yeah,
from
that makes
previous. I used to eat more tuna, but I don't eat tuna anymore, really. I eat salmon.
we, well, do we only have one hair test?
Yeah.
Okay. So um, we'll know with the second hair test whether you're excreting it or holding on to it.
Okay.
So that's this. I would expect to see on the second one, it's going to come down a little bit. That's a good sign.
Okay.
That's what you want to see. Is trace elements? No, trace elements does not wash the hair, and neither does man. Um, what's the other one?
Can't-
TEI and who?
Yeah. Something labs, isn't it? Analytical.
No. Oh my gosh, my brain's not working. And I think they're in the bottom. Um, ARL, ARL and TEI do not wash the hair. Everybody else does. So you're getting a pure read here. Well, it's going to be fascinating to see the next, to see how your magnesium changes and see. Um, so what's the ratio for the sodium to potassium?
10.57.
Okay. So what really aggravated your sodium and potassium, Krystal, was the vitamin D.
Yeah.
'Cause
That
again,
makes sense.
you got the renal, renal, for the renal potassium wasting. And then that, as soon as potassium's down, it's going to send sodium into orbit. And Rick Malter, when he was a classic fast oxidizer, he had a perfect 2.4 ratio of sodium to potassium. And when he started taking vitamin D, his ratio went up to 24 to 1 instead of 2.4 to 1. And it was terrifying for him because he had managed this for like 30 years. It was perfect 2.4, and boy, it blew up. And that's what happens in a fast oxidizer. They can't handle the vitamin D. I mean, the slow can't either, but it's much more dramatic and fast.
So, Will, so one of the things I've been thinking about, and I kind of expected the magnesium to be highly excreted because it's not in my red blood cell. I think my red blood cell was 4.7 or 4.8, which I take a ton of magnesium. So what I was talking actually to my husband about just the other day is how does magnesium get into the red blood cells? And then we were talking about sodium and potassium pumps. And we came to the conclusion that probably because the potassium is low, and he was telling me that when he's a hospitalist, when he's in, treating with patients with low potassium, if it won't come up, he gives them magnesium. So there's a relationship there, and that's what I was digging into as the project this week, for oxidative stress and how it affects magnesium. And everything I searched really said that you can bring up potassium with magnesium, but you can't bring up magnesium with potassium. But I feel, I feel like there might be a mechanism there that they are missing. So I'm still looking for that.
I think you're right. I tend to support what you're saying. The other thing is that there is a pump for the magnesium. I've never really studied it in any detail, but it's very much influenced by oxidative stress. So that would make perfect sense. But that's intriguing that he would use magnesium in the hospital setting. See, there's not one patient that goes into the hospital that doesn't need magnesium.
I agree.
And I mean, they're all deserts, but again, that's not mainstream.
I really think that the potassium is a bigger issue than than society, of course, is giving it credit, because when we're talking about the low vitamin or the supplementation with vitamin D that depletes the potassium, now we're seeing adrenal fatigue. And I was trying to relate it back because I have tons of patients who are men who are just, their testosterone's in the tank. And so I figured it out with my female patients. Our testosterone doesn't come from our ovaries, it comes from our adrenal glands. So I was really pushing on, listen, our adrenal glands are the size of a pea. They're supposed to be the size of a walnut. We need to nourish them, and your testosterone levels will be fine. We don't need exogenous testosterone. That's not a thing for women. And so, but then I've been doing that for months and months. And then I was like, wait a second. We have to be missing something with the men too. There has got to be a relationship between the adrenal glands, because they're the opposite. Only 5% of their testosterone comes from their adrenal glands. But DHEA, oxidative stress, cortisol, all those things. So I think that vitamin D is even causing this low testosterone epidemic.
No, I think you're right. And so in a copper deficient body, there can be a 50% drop in DHEA.
Yeah.
The other thing is,
okay.
if copper's down, iron's going to be up. If iron is up, then you're going to you're going to affect the sex hormone binding globulin, and you're going to start to make more estrogen. The testosterone is going to flip to estrogen, so the testosterone looks low, when in fact it's an estrogen crisis in the man's body. And
that
so,
makes a lot of sense.
well, a lot of men are getting testosterone because they're iron toxic. And then they get the testosterone, then they become a hemochrome. They've got so much iron in their system, they're drowning in iron.
Does the testosterone cause them retain more iron?
Yes. Absolutely.
Oh, that's why their hemoglobin and H is so high.
Right. Which is what they want, which is what the system wants.
Mm,
They want robots. That's what they
yeah.
want us to know. Well, let's take a look at your blood work. You gotta work on your enthusiasm. You know that?
Good take.
Morally, I am completely committed to you and this. I don't know how it's going to work, but I'm going to be part of making it a household name.
There you go. Appreciate that.
Great. Just for everyone else, and for you, Krystal, just when we see Mercury on a HTMA, you'll quite often see it depresses iron in the hair. So when Mercury high, you'll see low iron in the hair. Just one of those things with an HTMA, just a nuance. Okay, let's go over to the.
And it does, and then it is low mercury or high mercury is caused by the low copper too. So maybe getting copper into my system is releasing the mercury and it's coming out in my hair.
So wait, well, say that again. When Mercury.
So mercury and copper have a relationship, and so the mercury is high because I'm finally getting copper into my system. So it's gonna release the mercury that's been stored for years and years and years because I finally have a little bit of copper, which is amazing.
But Laura said that the Mercury is going to depress the iron in the hair. Laura.
That's what Laura said.
Mercury will show, when Mercury shows high on a HTMA, iron is always under the line.
Okay, interesting.
You don't normally ever see a high iron and a high mercury. Mercury depresses iron on a hair test.
Very rare that you would ever see a high copper. Well, you will see a high copper, but it's very rare you will see a high iron under any condition that I've ever seen. All right, what do we got? Can we enlarge it just a tad, please?
Do you want them all most recent, or did you want to just take the second to see the iron, the difference in the iron? How's that?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Bag plasma. Oh, plasma zinc. Interesting. Fascinating that your copper came down. That's interesting.
I know.
Don't put a lot of stock in that. I mean,
I think my body's sucking it up. I mean, I think my liver is just loving it. I think it's just getting absorbed everywhere. So I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, your ceruloplasmin is kind of where I would expect to see it.
Okay.
As you shed more iron, both through your menses and your blood donations, I think you're going to see the ceruloplasmin pop up. It's going to come up. It might get to the mid-20s. I don't know that it'll get to 30, but you never know. So what's interesting is the difference between transferrin and ceruloplasmin. Technically, both of those should be the same number. They should both be 30. So we know ceruloplasmin is down because of lack of copper historically, and probably too much iron. The transferrin is pretty strong. So I'm wondering, have you ever checked for parasites?
No, I have never checked. I do the diatomaceous earth every night though, and I figure if I have them, they'll be going away shortly.
Okay. What you can also do, you live in a very target-rich environment where there's a lot of alternative practitioners. I'm sure someone has either a right machine or a Spooky 2 Master.
Okay.
Just have them test you to see if you have pathogens.
Okay.
Yeah. I wonder if that wasn't the origin of the cancer.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Could be.
You were blessed with a Reiki master who was able to encapsulate it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. And I'm told that type of cancer generally just eats the kidney away. So
yeah,
yeah.
That's amazing. Wow, look at the change in your serum. You went from hemochromatosis to normal. That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
If I were your doctor, I'd be crying right now. What did you do?
Well, yeah.
You were destined for a life of drugs. Come on. Transparent, that's the TIBC is nice and strong. It can come up, and it will. Um, wow, 75% saturation. Well, that's why you had the cancer.
Yep. Yep.
That's why you had the
Yep.
cancer.
And I think so the results from April 4th, I had already kind of rolled in. I started doing the protocol as soon as I was reading the book in December, but I was pretty much full bore by then. And I think my body was releasing a lot of that iron. So it makes sense that my serum iron was so high. I had not donated blood yet. I had a bad experience in high school. But I knew when I saw that serum iron level, I was going to be just fine donating blood, especially with my hemoglobin being normal for a while. So,
Fascinating. So I'm guessing you're out in the sun a lot.
uh-huh, I am.
Okay. So the vitamin D is going to be strong in your body because of that. And the retinol is actually pretty strong as well. I mean, ideally get it into the 60s, but because of your unique environmental setting, I think it would be your vitamin D will go down. Well, how many days of rain does Reno get?
Oh, maybe like 5 a year. uh,
Your vitamin D is going to stay strong just because of the sunshine.
yeah.
Um, and it would actually be fascinating to get an active D just to see like
I have that on my next order. Yeah.
yeah, I think that'd be fascinating. These are amazing numbers. I think the only thing I would really encourage you to do is just for grins and giggles, find out if you have pathogens lurking
Okay.
in the backlog. And you're absolutely right to rely on the diatomaceous earth. I'm fully in support of that. It would just be nice to know because I think that when you see this discordant level of low ceruloplasmin with a fairly strong transferrin, well, they can make their own transferrin. They're looking for iron. And so
Okay.
that's going to distort your numbers. Um, Fascinating. So within your circle of influence, what kind of work do you do? What kind of practitioner are you?
So I'm a nurse practitioner and I've always had holistic roots. My mom was, the crazy anti-vaxxer. My grandma was a conspiracy theorist, blah, blah, blah. So, but then I actually in my 20s, I didn't go straight to college. I had a kind of interesting experience in high school where I moved in with my sister to be her nanny, changed high schools. I was set to be the valedictorian at my high school, ended up almost failing high school. I wanted to originally be a pediatrician. My sister said, "Oh no, you'll have too many student loans and blah, 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 blah." So I ended up going to massage therapy school. And then I moved to Japan and became a yoga instructor. And then I moved home to the States and had to pay the bills and became a nurse.
Okay.
And uh,
That's-
so
that's cool.
so I did the nurse practitioner thing, and then I was working with a MD who was holistic, a functional practitioner as a nurse practitioner. And then they called me Monday morning and said, "Well, don't come to work today. She's dead. She had had a massive heart attack." She was missing this information, right? And so she was saying, paleo, 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 don't eat a banana, God forbid, blah, blah, blah. But she was obviously missing something. That sent me down. I didn't know about you yet. So I started researching like why would that happen? And I learned a lot about genetics and genomics. I was pregnant with my second, so I was kind of complacent and I worked at the urgent care per diem. And then I saw my last day at urgent care was during COVID. I saw 99 patients in a 10-hour shift, and they were saying, "Come get your free test," but charging people $250 to see a provider. They were just raking in money, feeding on people's fear. So I came home and I told my husband, "I'm not going to do that anymore." And he said, "Okay, what do you want to do?" So I told him, that I was going to go back to the holistic. I wanted to do wellness, and um he said, okay. And so we kind of had some, roller coaster starting that up a little bit, but it's developed into a beautiful healing center. And it's kind of like layers have just been unfolding. And it was over the holidays last year when I kind of just said to the universe, I'm not helping people as much as I want to be, and I'm missing something. And if you don't give it to me, I quit. And the next day I heard you on a podcast and got your book.
I've heard that from hundreds of people. They'll do some declaration prayer to God, like I need it. I need an
Yeah.
answer. That's
Yeah.
that's amazing. Wow. What's the name of your center?
It's called Health Revolution. We call it Rev for short.
Okay. Health Revolution.
Yeah. So, and I'm not sure how it works, but once I'm done with this, I want to figure out how to make it, because I'm already implementing a lot of the parts of the root cause protocol, but I want to be an affiliate. I want to do whatever we have to do. I want to get you on my little podcast. I have a lot of great patients who have a lot of great connections, and I think it's, time. I think it can be in your lifetime.
Well, I'm delighted if it happens. I'm very much at peace. I know someone's going to bring it forward. And like, I'm very mindful of Weston Price. I mean, he did amazing work, but it took Sally Fallon, what was it, 80 years before his work really became known. I mean, it's like, okay, if it's going to take three generations, whatever. But would I like to be a part of it? Of course I would. But it's not ego. It's just to know that more people are going to benefit from it. That's really what it
Right. The sooner the better.
Yeah, absolutely. So what questions do you have that we haven't covered?
I guess my only question for me is, well, I was expecting my calcium to be high. Do you think I need to do calcium lactate, or do you,
Probably would. That would be a good idea. And so
okay,
do the cut the magnesium formula in half.
okay,
So instead of 5 milligrams per pound, 2.5 milligrams per pound.
okay.
Yeah.
Take it with the magnesium, or does it matter?
I think you're okay taking them together. Yeah, because see, the thing is, QI DAI at NIH did some very important research in 2012, and what he discovered is that when magnesium is twice as great as calcium, you guarantee calcium's absorption.
Okay.
When calcium is twice as high as magnesium, you prevent magnesium uptake. So that's and what's the formula? Everyone uses a calcium 2-to-1, so no one's getting magnesium. So no, you'll be fine taking them together. Yeah, I don't know why that's intriguing that you would understandably expect it to be high. I don't know that I can explain why it would be as low as it was, other than in a fast oxidizer, it's an indication of stress. So you've got this, magnesium's up and calcium's down.
Okay.
But it doesn't seem to have affected your energy level or
No.
your ability to get stuff done. So yeah, I would just work with the calcium lactate. What other questions?
Well, let's see. I'll just tell you, I had to order enough liver because I couldn't find grass-fed organic liver, haven't, and locally. So I had to order enough to get free shipping, which terrified my husband, as that seemed to be 25 pounds. But we've been having it every Wednesday night, and last night was the first night my daughter asked for more. So we're doing all right.
Wow. Who is she?
She's 10.
Just 10.
My
So
son asked for the A1.
he asked for the what?
For the A1.
Oh, A1. Okay. That's very cute. And so your daughter's going to really appreciate this when she starts her menstrual cycle.
Mm. We've already seen improvements. So what I had gone to see the Reiki master for initially was kind of like migraines and issues. So my kids take one magnesium. I use all FIQ products at home and in my practice now. So one magnesium, 2 cod liver oil, 1 recuperate, and a vitamin C every single night, non-negotiable. They went to a camp for a week and refused. They said, we don't want to have to go to the nurse. We don't want to be that kid. My daughter called me the second day crying. We should have taken our vitamins. I can't sleep. I don't feel good. So
So
it's
where did
improved.
you do your nurse practitioner training?
Las Vegas,
Okay.
UNLV. Yeah.
Okay. So have you been down there to school up the faculty down there?
What was that?
Have you gone down to UNLV to school up the faculty on the RCP?
I have not been back. My parents moved up here, so from Southern California, mass exodus out of there to the closest place was Las Vegas, and I haven't been back. They moved up here when my daughter was 2, and so I haven't been back to Vegas since.
Okay. It would just be fun to see what their reaction is.
Well, I was thinking last night that maybe it's time I do contact them and I'll see.
Yeah, no, you don't want to create a lot of discomfort, but it would be beneficial for them to know what you've learned. So you're going to do a testimonial, right?
Yes, yes,
Have you written a testimonial for the book?
I will. Where do you want me to submit that?
Well, we're kind of getting into this tweener state now because
Yeah.
book 1 is winding down and we're going to start up with book 2. Maybe keep your powder dry until November.
Okay, I have it on pre-order.
Okay. And just, you can be the first one out of the blocks. Let me tell
All
you
right.
about it.
Okay. All right.
So, no, I'm really very excited for you. Really appreciate you taking the time to share with us your story. I mean, it's about as positive an outcome as we could hope for.
hmm
And that's,
I've had a lot of energy workers and intuitives comment on my lifelines, Morley. And so when I had cancer, I knew it wasn't the end of me for sure. And I've never identified as like a cancer patient or anything like that because I know I'm supposed to live a long time and I know I'm supposed to do good work. And so
that's great.
I'm gonna help
Well,
you.
you are doing,
Yeah.
and we're thrilled to have you in class. So it's phenomenal. Well, this will be a fun one to have in the um, recordings. I think it's just like a nice shot in the arm for people to like, wow, cancer, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And so you have the benefit, obviously, of a Reiki master, obviously a very talented surgeon, urologist, who knew what they
Yeah.
were. So softball that's hard to fathom. Was there a bump on your back or anything like that?
No, it was interesting though. There were certain poses in yoga that I would get a stabbing pain. And so I assume that was it. Um,
It's amazing. Well, you have you thanked yourself for what
oh
you've done?
gosh, yes, every day. I'm so grateful. Oh my gosh. What amazes me, Morley, is our bodies. Like, we are like stronger than cockroaches. It is amazing. We can do everything wrong. We are so resilient.
It's very true. Absolutely true. Yeah,
It's beautiful. And then we think we can outthink it.
that's the part.
It's hilarious.
It really is.
But I just love what I love too is just learning the things that you bring to the table that I get to learn about that take things down to the cellular level. And then you can equate it back to the energetics. You can equate it back to these things that do work. And to be able to connect the dots from all the things that are missing in allopathic medicine, all the way to these, uh, things that aren't medicine at all that work. It's just it's just such a gift and such a blessing. And it's so much fun to go down these pathways and see how they actually work. It's like taking apart a car and getting to see all the pieces that actually work.
When you were little, were you high energy?
Probably, yeah.
Bouncing off the walls.
Yeah, yeah. I
It's,
was
it's,
always doing projects. I was always uh it was very important. My parents were very crafty. They were both school teachers. It was always making something, a project around the house, always doing projects. My dad and I built this shelf behind us a few years back, it's just what we do.
it's great stuff. And are your parents on the protocol now?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I'm trying to figure out the best way. My dad has had a lot of health issues over the last, since he quit donating blood after a few accidents 10, 15 years ago. And he's always been iron rich. So we were just talking about how we're going to get him to donate blood. I wanted him to try the traditional route and see if they would take it. If not, I'm going to just have him come to the office and drain some.
Yeah.
And then my mom, she is, let's see, she was born in 1948, so she's 77, started CrossFit with me last month.
Good for her. That's great.
So she's lost, actually, I think she's been doing it 6 weeks, and she told me yesterday she's lost 15 pounds and she's lifting heavy things, and she seems a lot better. So. And they're on all the supplements too, yeah, for sure. And trying to eat healthy. It's hard for them.
Well, it's a big change in lifestyle.
Dad came up for liver last night. Mom wasn't having it.
Really? She grew up with it.
Yeah, she hates it. She
Yeah,
doesn't eat.
because it didn't taste right because it was grain fed, not grass fed. She
Mhm.
might mix it up with ground beef.
Yeah, that's what we're doing tonight. Tacos always have, so we get the venison, Maui Nui venison, and we have the liver in it and the heart.
Very cool.
It's great.
Well, thank you again for volunteering. Thank you.
Well, no, thank you, Morley. I just want to say, I don't think you have any idea what I mean, I know you know what you've done, but I don't think you know what you've done. I think it's amazing. And I am forever in your debt. And I'm just excited to be working with you and for you.
Well, thank you. I would never have predicted this. I didn't set out to do this, but once I realized what the problem was, I wasn't going to back down. So,
Yeah.
and we're not done yet.
No.
And we need, people like your classmates. We need thousands. We've got almost 1,000 now, but we need thousands of graduates to really get this word out.
Yeah. Well, and what I must say too is I have been so impressed with the team you've built, with the compassion that people have for one another. Again, it's something that's just missing terribly in medicine, in the allopathic world. And just bringing that little bit of caring to the table. I've always, since I opened my own practice, all of my appointments with my patients are 1 hour. And I always schedule time on each side. That was just non-negotiable. And even though I wasn't doing all the right things, heck, I was telling them to do a lot of wrong things. They've stuck with me, and I don't have anything but a 5-star review, and it's been lovely. And I wasn't even doing it right, and now I'm doing it right. So
I think everyone who's here understands this, but just to reinforce the point, when you understand that everything has the same solution, doesn't matter what they present with, you can relax.
yeah.
And you can actually relate to them and be empathetic with them because you're not worried about trying to figure out what's their problem. You know what their problem is. Before they walk in, you know what the problem is. And that sounds arrogant, but it's true.
Yeah.
This copper, iron, oxygen thing is really wicked. And now we're putting in a dash of nitric oxide just to really make it exciting. But the thing is, you can settle into a relationship when you have Mother Nature at your back, guiding the process and just plug them into the protocol. I don't, I wonder why people struggle with it. Not in the class, but like
Right.
practitioners are very threatened by this. Extremely threatened because it just invalidates their training, which I think is really at the core of it.
Well, and I've even had, and I struggle with what I know you've struggled with because I've listened to all your consults, with patients getting information from multiple sources. Or, I have one patient who just told me today, I saw the cardiovascular and he told me to increase the statin because we've been working him down. And he says, we're going up to 40. I'm going up. And so I sent him all the info. And it's like, you got to stop. Either you're on this path or you're not. And
Yeah.
and then I had my first patient get really angry with me just a week ago because I told her, okay, no vitamin D, you can't do the vitamin D. She had not been an active member. She hadn't been getting my newsletters, and she got furious with me. She said, 2 years ago when I last saw you, you told me to take vitamin D. And I said, yeah. And I also told you I'll always bring you the best information I have. And I'm telling you right now, you got to stop it or it's going to kill you. So she got really upset, but such is life.
No, and what you maybe you've already had this experience. When you fire clients, it's a very emboldening experience.
Mhm.
When you tell someone, I can't work with you anymore.
Yeah.
That really, your sphincters are going to tighten up, and they'll be in shock.
Yeah.
But it really strengthens your resolve.
Well, and I think that's the blessing of doing things how I'm doing things. I have never accepted insurance. I have never, I've been outside of the box as much as I could, but I never felt like I was outside of the box enough because, again, I wasn't getting the right results. I just wasn't getting my patients the relief that I knew they should have, doing all the right things. And, they're 90%, they're doing all the right things, but then still having a lupus flare up or still having that. I'm like, what is going on? This shouldn't be happening. And so then you implement this and it's like, they're like me. They recover. They're just through the roof. They're amazing. So
That's really cool.
yeah.
Well, thank you again. Soldier on.
Okay.
Delighted that we had a chance to have this conversation. It's
Me
really
too. Me too. Thank you.
You're very welcome.